Hello students, welcome to the Biological Life Sciences channel. In this video, we are going to talk about Human Genome Project. Human Genome Project was indeed an ambitious project that was undertaken by mankind in the history of biology. Sequencing of the whole genome was an Herculean task which was initiated by United States of America, and later different countries joined into this project and helped in completion of this project. The different samples, human samples, were taken for this project, and the identity of these samples or the individuals taken was kept secret. And there were different technologies that was involved in sequencing of this project. So let's see in details all the details regarding the Human Genome Project. So watch the video till the end. So let's begin. Let's first see the different aims that were associated with the Human Genome Project. The first and foremost aim was to identify all the sequences present in the 23 human chromosomes, that's approximately 3 billion bases. To identify genes and their presence on different chromosomes, there are approximately 30,000 genes that were known afterwards. Locate all the positions of the genes on the chromosome. The project was worth rupees $6 billion. And 1,000 different scientists were involved in this, and many different workers were there. Around 50 countries were involved, and it was completed in 2000. It showed that only approximately 3% of the genome was coding for proteins, but remainder was repetitive sequences and possibly other kinds of DNA. So let's see the process here. As I discussed in previous videos of genomic DNA library construction, human DNA can be stored in the form of genomic DNA library, and this was used for the sequencing purpose. The human DNA was cleaved using restriction nucleases enzymes that degrades the DNA in different sites, different specific sites. Now these fragments were cloned into different vector molecules and cloned in separate organisms, and this separate organisms was distributed among different countries and different labs. For example, the first organism containing the first fragment of the human DNA is given to certain lab, then second is given to certain lab, and third is given to a different lab. And then after sequencing of these fragments that were cloned in different vectors and stored in genomic DNA libraries, the data was compiled again and the whole sequence of the human genome was generated. So this was the process that was done at the starting. So thereby the samples were distributed, or the organisms were distributed into different labs, and the sequencing was done. Let's see the history and details about Human Genome Project. Until the early 1970, DNA was a difficult molecule to analyze, but after the sequencing, DNA was one of the easiest molecule to be analyzed. We can now isolate a specific region of a genome, produce virtually unlimited copies of it using PCR, and it cannot be done, literally cannot be done with other molecules. But in DNA it's possible. So it is all due to the Human Genome Project. At the height of Human Genome Project, sequencing factories were generating about the DNA sequence that was the 1000 nucleotide per second, 24/7 the sequencing was done. Technical breakthrough that allowed the Human Genome Project to be completed had an enormous impact on the biology. So indeed, the completion of this project was very helpful. Let's see the goals of Human Genome Project. There were different goals that were involved. First goal of Human Genome Project was to identify approximately 30,000 genes in human DNA. It determined the sequences of 3 billion chemical base pairs that makes up the human DNA. The most Herculean task was to store this information in the database form and improve tool for data analysis and transfer these technologies to the private sector, and to address ethical, legal and social issues that were related that may arise due to the project. That is, the sample that can be taken from a male donor, or sample can be taken from a female donor, a child, a aged person. So all these kinds of social, ethical and legal issues that can be presented here was addressed using this. So there were different milestones that were crossed during the going on of this project. In 1990, or actually, the project was initiated as a joint effort of United States Department of Energy and National Institute of Health, United States. In June 2000, the completion of working draft of entire human genome was done, and February 2001, analysis of the working draft was done, and finally in April 2003, human genome sequencing is completed and the project is declared finished 2 years ahead of the schedule, and this was possible due to the advent in the sequencing technologies. Let's see the finding that Human Genome Project did. First of all, let's see the findings that it did by numbers. What are the numbers it gave us? The Human Genome Project contains about 3 billion chemical base pairs, that is ACTG. The average gene consists of about 3000 bases, means average human gene can be about 3000 bases. But size varies greatly, with the largest known human gene being dystrophin, that is about 2.4 million base pairs, means this is the largest gene in the human chromosome. Then the total number of genes is estimated to be about 30,000 and much lower than the previous estimate that was made around 80,000 to 1,40,000. It's much less than that. Almost 99.9 nucleotide bases are exactly same in all individuals. The functions are unknown for about 50% of the discovered genes still. The human genomes, gene-dense urban centers are predominantly composed of DNA that is having G and C base pairs. In contrast, the gene-poor deserts are rich in DNA building blocks such as A and T. GC and AT rich regions usually can be seen through microscope as large and dark bands on chromosomes. So on chromosome, when you view the chromosomes under a microscope, the lighter bands are of AT as it is having a double hydrogen bond between them, and the darker bonds are of GC as it is having a triple bond between them. Genes appears to be concentrated in random areas along the genomes. Means what? The human genome, the functional part of the human genome is not concentrated at a particular area. It is distributed all over the genome. So it appears to be concentrated in random areas. Stretch up to 30,000 C and G bases is repeated over and over, often adjacent to the gene rich areas, forming a barrier between different genes, and this is called a junk DNA because this is done to protect the DNA. And furthermore, different functional genes are also added with certain kinds of nonsense sequences that are called introns, and this is done to protect the human DNA. The chromosome number 1 has the most gene in it. It is approximately 2968 genes, and Y chromosome has the fewest genes of all. It's 231 genes. Less than 2% of the genome codes for actual proteins. There are presence of different repetitive sequences that do not code for full protein and makes up of at least 50% of the human genome. The repetitive sequences are having no direct function, but they shed their light on chromosome structure and dynamics. Over time, these repeats of genome rearrange itself and create entirely new gene sequence, modifying and reshuffling of the existing genes, thereby creating the variation. The human genome having these repetitive sequences have 50% of repetitive sequences, that is much greater than the mustards, which has 11%, the worms which has 7%, and flies which has 3%. Means compared to other organisms, human DNA is having lots of repetitive sequences in it. The presence of repetitive sequence in human DNA is very important because it gives rise to variation, and this variation helps in adapting the human life to the different changing environment. Scientists have identified around 3 million locations where single base pair DNA differences are present, that is called as SNPs. And other locations also are present where the repetitive DNA are of different kinds. For example, VNTRs, variable number of tandem repeats, then multivariant repeats are there. So all these kinds of molecular markers are there which have different repeats in it, and that helps in specifying a different individual. This information promises to revolutionize the process of finding chromosomal locations for different disease associated sequences and tracing human histories. The ratio of germline sperm or egg cell in mutations is 2:1 in males versus females. That is, the mutations is more in males than in females. Researcher points to several reasons for higher mutation rate in male germlines, as the greater number of cell divisions are required for sperm formation than the egg, because out of a single cell that is diploid in state, it gives rise to only one egg cell, but in case of sperms, one diploid cell give rise to 4 different sperms. So the rate of variation or the recombination is more. Therefore, the rate of mutation is also more in males. So let's compare the human genome size to the estimated genes. First of all, human genome is of about 3 billion base pairs. Compared to the laboratory mouse, it's 2.6 billion base pairs, but approximate gene present in both are same. In mustard, that is Arabidopsis thaliana, it's 100 million, 25,000 genes are present. Roundworms, it's 97 million, then 19,000 genes are there. In fruit fly, that is Drosophila melanogaster, it's 137 million and 13,000 genes are there. In yeast, it's about 12.1 million, 6,000 genes. Bacterium, that is E. coli, 4.6 million, and there are 3,200 genes. And in human immunodeficiency virus, the size is 9,700 base pairs and the estimated gene is 9 here. So this is the comparative chart of different gene sizes. There are lots of benefits of this human genome project in molecular medicine. It helps in improving disease diagnosis. Means if you know the defective gene present, then you can compare it with the standard human genome that is available, and you can check whether a particular gene is undergoing certain mutations or the product of the gene is a mutated one. It detects the genetic predispositions to the disease, create drug-based molecular mechanism depend on the sequence, because whatever the protein a gene is forming ultimately will depend on the sequence of the gene. Okay, use gene therapy and control systems for drug, then designing of custom drugs, that is in pharmacogenomics. It also helps in molecular genomics or microbial genomics, where rapid detect and treat pathogen in clinical practices is done, develop new energy sources, monitor environments to detect pollutants, then protect citizens from biological and chemical warfare, then different other safety and efficiency methods. It also helps in risk assessment, that is evaluate the health risk faced by individuals who may be exposed to radiations and to cancer, because we have a standard genome of human. We can compare, if a person is exposed to certain cancer causing agent, we can check whether the DNA is mutated or not by sequencing of that in particular individual, or check whether the genes are in proper sequence or not. Then bioarchaeology, anthropology, evolution and human migrations can be studied using this. Study evolution through germline mutations in different lineages. Study migration of different population groups based on maternal inheritance. So for this purpose, the sample of human DNA that was taken from different individuals and in the different part of the world. So it also helps in studying the maternal inheritance and migration of different populations based on different areas. It also studies mutations on Y chromosome to trace lineage and migration of males, compare breakpoints in the evolution of mutations with the ages of mutation and historical events. It is a very important thing in DNA identification, that is forensics, because we have a standard copy of DNA. We can compare it with different individuals, and the difference only is in the repetitive sequences of the different individual. Otherwise, other human DNA is same. Okay, so the molecular markers are used here in forensics, and it helps in identifying potential suspects whose DNA may be matching the evidence left at the crime scenes. Then exonerate a person wrongly accused of crime. You can save different persons. Then identify crime and catastrophe victims. Establish paternity and other family relationship between the individuals. You can go for paternal and maternal disputes also here. It can be solved. Then identify endangered and protected species depending on their DNA. Then detect bacteria and other organisms that may pollute water, soil and food. You can match the organ donor with the recipient in transplant programs, determine pedigree, then other different things. It also plays a very important role in other livestock also, bioprocessing also, that are related to human and human diseases. It has a very important role in gene testing, pharmacogenomics and gene therapy. There are anticipated benefits that are improved diagnosis of disease, earlier detection of genetic predispositions to the disease. So if you know, for example, a genetic disease is there in a particular individual, and doctors are seeing that the particular DNA is not developing, or the new fetus is not developing, they can go for karyotyping and sequencing of that particular fetus, and then it can be checked with the standard and check for the genetic sequence of that, such as sickle cell anemia can be detected at an early age. Rational drug designing is a very important application of this sequence. This uses the bioinformatics to develop different drugs against different diseases. Then gene therapy, if a particular gene is not working or particular gene is mutated, then the product of that gene is also faulty and it's causing the disease, then it can be controlled using the gene therapy and the control system drugs, that is personalized one for a particular different individuals. There are different other applications also: privacy and confidentiality of genetic information, fairness use of genetic information, then psychological impact, stigmatization and discrimination due to the individual genetic differences. There are certain reproductive issues that are also solved using the human genome sequence. Clinical issues are also there that are related to different risk factors and different disease conditions that can be solved using the genome of human. There are uncertainties associated with gene test for susceptibility of complex conditions, example heart disease, diabetes and Alzheimer's disease. Certain diseases are there that are genetic diseases that can be studied using the human genome research or human genome sequences. Fairness in actual assessment to the advanced genomic technologies can be done. Conceptual and philosophical implications of human genome responsibilities, genetic determinations and concept of health and disease can be done. Health and environmental issues of human beings can be studied, and different other impact of different other microbes and foods can be studied on human. Commercialization of product that includes property rights, patent, copyright rights, secrets and assessment of the material can be done also. So in turn, the human genome sequence is a very important finding that we have made, and it is helping in developing the genetic study and genetic research of humankind. This was all about the human genome project. If there is any query, do write in comments. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please press like button, share, comment and subscribe the channel. Thank you for joining with us.